Tory rebels back down over Brexit bill after a meaningful vote amendment. The government appears to have headed off a rebellion by Tory MPs minutes before a key vote on their say over Brexit. A last-minute concession to pro-EU backbenchers was agreed, which appears to have averted a showdown on what role Parliament will have in the event of no agreed deal. Brexit Secretary David Davis wrote to MPs to inform them that ultimately it will be for Commons Speaker John Bercow to decide whether they get a meaningful vote on a no-deal withdrawal. Afterwards, key figure Dominic Grieve said he was backing down, saying that the sovereignty of Parliament had been acknowledged. Prominent pro-EU Tory Nicky Morgan also declared that she was ready to back the government on this basis. Potential Tory rebels were bristling at Theresa May's plan to offer only a symbolic vote on an unamendable neutral motion which would simply note that no agreement has been reached with Brussels. They want a meaningful vote allowing them to approve or reject the government's proposed next steps. The statement from Davis, which circulated in Westminster as debate began on the EU withdrawal bill, made clear that Commons standing orders give the Speaker the final say on whether a motion is amendable or not. This may be enough to persuade some rebels that their concerns have been addressed, though it is thought likely that ministers will be confident of being able to draft a motion which will be judged neutral by Mr. Bercow if the need arises. Ms. Morgan tweeted, "On this basis Parliament's vote is meaningful, and I will support the government amendment." And leading Tory Remainer Dominic Grieve, who tabled the initial motion demanding a meaningful vote, told MPs in the Commons chamber that he would back the government. Mr. Grieve said that the Brexit Secretary's statement amounted to an obvious acknowledgement of the sovereignty of this place over the executive in black and white language. He was greeted with jeers of shame from the opposition benches as he said, "I am prepared to accept the government's difficulty and support it." Prominent anti-Brexit treble Anna Soubry appeared unconvinced, saying Mr. Davis was dancing on the head of a pin and tweeting the #WorldGanMad. Scottish National Party leader Nicola Sturgeon dismissed the compromise as a fudge, while Labour whips said it was meaningless. Meanwhile, Labour accused the Conservatives of refusing to cooperate with a long-standing convention permitting sick MPs to vote in Wednesday's division. Under the convention, MPs who are too ill to make their way through the voting lobbies can be nodded through from an ambulance or car parked in the parliamentary courtyard. At least one Labour MP and possibly more were understood to be planning to come from hospital to be nodded through for Wednesday's crucial vote on the EU withdrawal bill, which could be decided by the narrowest of margins. A senior Downing Street source said he was not aware of Conservatives refusing to cooperate, but a Labour spokesman confirmed the party's whips had been told nodding through would not be available, denouncing the move as obviously unacceptable. Tory rebels believe they can inflict defeat on the government as the flagship legislation returns to the Commons after the Lords again backed giving MPs a meaningful say on the final deal. The Prime Minister staved off a Tory rebellion on the move last week but faces a bruising battle in the latest round of voting amid claims she failed to implement a compromise that opponents believed they were promised. Philip Lee, who resigned as a government minister in order to back a strengthened role for Parliament, acknowledged there had been a concerted effort to win over would-be rebels, including the dark arts of persuasion in the corridors of power. If you have a story for our news team, email us at webnews@metro.co.uk. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter.